Okay, we are back. Let's continue programming our video game. So, you might be wondering why there's some green light here. Well, um, as it turns out, I began like coding again. Like I did this. I began coding again like 30 minutes ago, but then I realized in the middle of it that I was going nowhere. I was doing the wrong thing. I was overcomplicating everything. I just want to keep this game simple. Um, yeah, like I don't want to focus on the wrong aspects of the game. So I went back to the state that I was before, that I was in before. So this is exactly the same as where I left off last time. So yeah, I changed a lot of things, but now I changed them back, and we are good to go. So let's compile our code. Um, Okay, installation. I'm gonna see like the magic expression here. So g++ main.cpp. I'm going to call it game. I'm going to paste this here, and I'm going to execute the game. Right. So we got our tiles that we can click. Cool. So next step is going to be um, to like make some tiles fall. And then yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So what do we have here? Pinta. Yeah, that's what I drew last time. I guess I'm gonna keep this drawing. I mean it's what I drew like 30 minutes ago, but then I restarted everything. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this drawing. It's pretty self-explanatory. I was just drawing like so 4 columns here because we have 4 keys, and like each time, and there's a note falling down each time. So okay. So what should we do now? Well, just to make things simpler for later, what I'm going to do is just here. So we have tile X, but I think I'm just going to define. Oops, I think my microphone might be a little bit too close. Okay, so here I'm going to define. Um, define tile 2x, and this is going to become tile 1x, and so this is going to be tile 1x plus tile 1x plus tile gap, right? And so then I'm going to do this, and this is going to be tile 3, tile 4, tile 2, tile 3, and yeah, I mean it's pretty self-explanatory. Yep, and so I'm gonna come here, tile, so tile 2, tile 2x, tile 1x, tile 3x, tile 4x. Right, so if I compile this and run it, epic, not exactly what I wanted, but why does it do that? Let's see, did I do something wrong? Oh, right, plus tile width, of course. Of course, how could I forget? Okay. Right, so we have this, but it's going to be easier it's going to be more readable if we have this here. So now we are going to make notes that are falling. So let's call them notes. So a note width is going to be equal to basically just tile width. Okay, no problem here. Define note height will be tile height. Okay, why not? Define note gap will be tile gap, just the same. I could just use tile width instead of node width, but I think it's going to be more readable if I just yeah, like gives it the same value but create a separate preprocessor instruction for it. Okay. And so basically I'm just going to define a lot of stuff here. So node 1x will be all of that. Oops, that's not one. That's not what I wanted to copy. And then define node 2x. It will be node. It's just going to be node 1x plus node width plus node gap. And then I'm just going to do this like that. 3, 2, okay. And so here is something's going to be different. It's node spawn y is going to be let's say 0 for now. In reality, it's more going to be a negative value, or I don't know what I'm going to do, but basically we want our nodes to not like spawn directly here and then fall down. They need to like gradually appear as if they spawned here and then gradually appear on the screen, right? But I'm going to figure it out later. Okay, so we got all these constants. Now let's create a node class. So I could do inheritance, like I could modify the tile class and then do some inheritance to make a virtual class, I mean an abstract class, and then make tile and node inherit from this class, but I'm not going to do this. Why not? Well, because it's a pain in the ass to figure out like what methods need to be pure virtual and whatever. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go with my feeling, you know. Yeah, I don't care right now. Eventually, maybe later, I don't know, I'll try to simplify it, whatever. But the process, it sounds like a pain in the ass. I don't want to spend 50 minutes just figuring out if it should be a private, public, virtual, whatever. I'm just going to do a separate class. So I'm going to call it node and private attributes. So it is going to have a x value, although it's going to, yeah, I mean, it's going to have this. I mean, it's basically going to have the same as a tile here. Int height. It's also going to have a node state. And let's create a new thing here. So let's call this tiles, and this is going to be nodes, right? And so node state will either be falling or hit or hidden. So it starts by being hidden. Once it gets spawned by the program, it will be falling, and then it can either fall to the bottom of the screen and then becomes hidden again and basically gets destroyed, like yeah, it stops existing altogether, or it can get hit around here or here, like yeah. And if it gets hit, it's going to like give a certain score or whatever, depending on like the accuracy of the hit. So yeah, 3 states sounds good to me. let's do public. What should I do here? So a note is going to take. Should I give it any real constructor or not? Should I give it any constructor or not? Let's think about it. So I want my note to be, I want to be able to say like, okay, let's spawn it right now in my program, like at some point here. So I'm gonna have like note 1, I'm going to do sort of a for loop of all the notes that exist, like a for note in notes basically, spawn note, or like render note. But what mechanic is going to spawn them? Right, so first there's going to be a render method, of course, kind of like this, render draw. But what is going to spawn it? Well, right now I don't have any music or whatever, so I don't have any music right now, but ideally it should spawn based on the music, you know, like to give it some sort of rhythm. Maybe I should try like later on to make it spawn automatically based on the music, the sound. Like maybe I'll try to use some sort of AI to like take a song and automatically determine, like automatically get the rhythm points in the song, in the music, and basically then my notes are just going to appear, to spawn at these points. Yeah, but for now I think I'm just going to do a spawn method, render method, and then I'm gonna figure out later when I'm going to use the spawn method, like when in the program I'm going to use it. Right, so I have all this. I have all this. But do I need a... Do I need here this or not? I don't think so. I think the spawn method is going to take x as an argument, but I think the constructor doesn't need to have anything. In fact, maybe by default it's just going to put everything to 0. And the state is going to be hidden. I think that's fair. Let's see, can I compile this? Can I compile this? Oop. No return statement in function returning non-void. Right, wait, I know where is my class? It's here, I need, boom. Right, so nothing has changed. Fair enough, that's what I was expecting. So let's change something else here first. In our tile class, let's put the state as a private attribute and create a void set state const tile state s, and it's just going to like do state equal to s. Nothing special here. Let's make some stuff const here. Let's just make it const. So const, And so does this still compile? Well, it's not going to compile because here I'm calling it calling the private attribute. So set state released, and I'm just going to put this here. So this should compile. It does. Okay, hasn't changed anything. It's just to make it a little bit more professional, if that makes sense. Okay, so I mean, basically, I could have done some inheritance, but I'm not doing it because I'm fucking trash. I'm bad, and I just want my game to work. It doesn't matter if it's optimally designed or not. Okay, so so we're gonna have two methods. So one is going to be render draw, which is going to take an SDL renderer. I don't think it needs anything else. And it's also going to have another method called void spawn. And this is going to be int, so x coordinate basically, but column, should I call it column? Tile number. Okay, let's just call it this way. Because when it spawns, it's always going to spawn here, right? So the y coordinate is not going to change at first. And yeah, like the width and the height is not going to change either. So it's just going to take spawn x as an argument, this method. And here y should probably be like node spawn y, right? And let's do this instead of saying that it should. Let's just do that. So width is just going to be node width, and height is going to be node height, right? And I guess I could simplify a lot of stuff here by just doing this. Tile y. Oops. Tile width. Tile height. Yep. Well, anytime I do something, I feel like I'm slowly convincing myself that I should just do inheritance, but I'm stubborn, so I'm not going to do it. Because right now this is just generic programming. I mean, I could just do like use a template method, template class, and then just change on whether it's a note or whatever. But I don't feel like it. I feel more comfortable doing this. You know what? For now, I'm gonna do this, and if like at some point I realize, yeah, I should really do it, I'm gonna do it on video, or not on video. I don't know. I don't really care. But for now, just for the sake of not wasting too much time doing something that I don't that I'm not totally comfortable with, I'm just going to do it the naive way, and then eventually I'm going to make it more sophisticated and simpler. Okay, and so now this is just going to be tile x. This can go away. Right. This should compile. Does it? It does. Right, so this hasn't changed anything. This has just made the code a little bit simpler. Okay. And at first the state is just going to be released, right? And so that means I won't have to deal with that. Right. Right. We love programming around here. Now look how clean this looks. It's just 4 lines, just like that. And I'm even at some point going to make a function that's going to be like void render draw tiles and void render draw nodes, so that this is only on one line in the main function. I'm in the while loop. This as well, like handle like key press tiles and whatever. But for now, let's continue with our nodes. So we should write our methods here. So render draw for our node. So void node render draw SDL render, right? And so we are going to draw a rectangle, that's for sure. And it's going to be of coordinate x, y with height. No surprises here. And so if state is equal to hidden, then let's see. If state is hidden, then it's going to be set render draw color. So render, I think that's how it works. I used it here. Set render and then the color. So I think it's RGB alpha. So it's just going to be straight up transparent, and so black in our case. And then we're going to do SDL render I mean, if it's hidden, it's not going to do anything, right? Right, so if it's hidden, it's not going to do anything. We're just not going to render it, so it doesn't matter, does it? So let's just do falling. So if it's falling, it's going to be, let's do white for now. Maybe I'll just find a prettier color at some point, but. And so it's going to be render fill rect fill rect, so render and rectangle. Do I need anything else? Where was it? It was here, fill rect. Nope, I don't need anything else. Okay. Sounds good. What else do I need? If it's falling, and if it's hit, if state is equal to hit, then render fill rect. Then we're just going to do set render draw color, and we're just going to make it disappear, right? So it's basically as if it was hidden. So I could basically just make those two the same, but I'm going to keep them separated to make it more readable. And so here it's going to be SDL render fill rect render rect. Right. And if it's falling, maybe we should do y plus equal 5. And here we should introduce a sort of FPS notion, you know, like 1 second over 60. So to have 60 frames per second, ideally. But if it, but I'm gonna like look it up. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now or later or another day. But like at some point I'm gonna try to use VSync or something like that to make the movement linear and not so that it depends on the frame rate of, so that the speed doesn't depend on the frame rate of the game, of the window. Okay, so we have this. So does this compile? It does. Doesn't do anything right now. That's fair. It's normal. Wasn't expecting it to do anything. Now I'm going to do void node spawn, and so this is going to be a const int spawn x, and so this so spawn, it means that it should imply that that it's hidden. So we're only going to do something if the state is hidden. Otherwise we're not going to do anything. We're not going to throw out an error or anything. We're just not going to do anything. If state is hidden, then state then first let's do x is equal to spawn x, y will be equal to node spawn y. Let's just basically reset it. Imagine it's the same node as we have one node and it falls all the way down, and then we say spawn again. It's just going to teleport back up. Not sure during the game we're going to use this, but let's just try it here. And then let's do state is equal to falling, and now yeah, I think I'm not going to do anything else, because I'm going to call it like spawn, and then here in the program it's going to render it, so I don't need to call the render function here again, because it's just going to do it here at some point. Okay, let's do here void set state const node state s. It's just going to do s equal to, I mean, state equal to s, right? Okay. Now I think we should be ready here. Maybe I should do a factory design pattern at some point for the nodes. I'm not sure. I'll see. Okay. Now let's do node 1. Doesn't take any argument like parameter. And then let's do here. Let's do here node 1 dot render draw. Alright, does this draw anything? It doesn't draw anything. Okay. Why? Well, because it's hidden, right? So I guess I need to do node 1 spawn render. Oh, spawn Oh no, it doesn't take the render, right? It only takes spawn X. So let's do note 1. Let's see, what did I call it? Note 1X. Oh right, so I have this. So it works. It's what I was expecting. It's not very smooth. It's not very smooth. I'll see if I can make it smoother at some point. But I can spawn it. And let's see. When I render it, let's do like something like if y is above or equal to or like just straight above to above window height, then we're going to do state equal hidden. Or let's just do spawn and do like note 1 note 1x just to see what it does if it resets it. Huh. Doesn't reset it. Not cool. Spawn note 1x. So let's do, just to see, let's do y. Just to see what it does. Do you have anything? Okay. So, right, it's because if state is hidden. So let's do state equal hidden for now. Now it should work. Boom. Okay, so it just keeps spawning. So let's do something funny here. I mean, not very funny, but it's going to be node spawn y, but node spawn y. Let's do it. Let's do it minus node height. Right. Well, now it comes from the top. Okay. So we got this. Okay. It's not very clean. Maybe I'll just put it in a header file with all the constants. I'll see. But okay. Let's do this. Note 2. This is note 3. Note 4. Right. Right. I get it now. I get it now. So the issue is that alright, let me run it again. Right. If I don't render it, it's not going to render. Smart. Fair enough. You know, one of my professors said, and it's pretty true, most of the time when something unexpected happen, or like if a software doesn't work properly, or if basically anytime a programmer or a normal user thinks a program or a code is not behaving properly, especially code, well, the issue very, very rarely lies within the code. Usually it's a programmer who did something wrong, or the user who did something wrong. And so when unexpected behavior happens in a program, well, it's usually because the programmer wrote code that made something unexpected happen. It's not because the code is broken, or because the language has bugs. It's usually because the programmer made a mistake. Oh well. Okay, so we got 4 nodes, and then let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So this works. How can I make them spawn at a different time? Would I need to do multi-threading or whatever? Like if I don't want them to spawn at the same time. Well, I have my 4 nodes. Okay. Right, so let's just simplify the main loop. Let's just do something like void, and what can I do? Like void, like render tiles. Like just render tiles. And it's going to be tile 1, tile 2, tile. You know what? Let's do a template. Template, and let's do T. Let's do object 1, object 2, object 3, object 4, and let's do 4 object in. No, we don't have a list, so let's just do object 1 dot render draw renderer render draw renderer. I don't know if this is going to work. I need to reread how to do templates, but I think that's how it works. Template type name. Template. Right, so it's template, and this is going to be like class, or let's do type name T. It's going to do void and if object 1 You know what? For now, let's just do this. I don't know. I know that the code is not really safe right now, but um, oh, well, that's a little bit awkward. Okay. Okay, so SDL renderer. Right, so it does compile. And here I'm just going to do um, render tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, tile 4, and I'll pass in the render as well. Right. And same here. Render note 1, note 2, note 3, note 4. Let's see if this works. Well, expected primary expression before primary, so it has to be a primary type. Well, can it be, so does it mean, I'm not sure, like, can I do this? No. Expected primary expression before, so template functions. So it has to be primary, like int, char, whatever. So let's read the documentation, function template. Parameter list. Let's see. Let's see, template. But does it have to be primary expressions here? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, well, I don't want to waste too much time doing this, so I'm going to give up on the templates and I'll read more about it later. So let's do, so this is going to be rendered tiles. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well, would you look at that? It compiled. It's just that I wasn't calling the right thing. But no, it's not rendering anything. It is not rendering anything now. Because when I do render tile or render node, what does it do? Like in tile, render draw. And in here, it does do that. So maybe I should do, no, it is already here. So it's just that it's not really working. Okay, I don't know enough about this to use it right now, and it would require a lot of time, I think. I mean, not a lot, but some time to make this correctly, but I don't want to waste time here right now trying to understand better how it works. I'll need to read more about it, read some more. So I'm just going to not do generic programming. I'm just going to do like render tiles, and so tile, 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 and tile. And let's see. So I'm gonna have to change this. Oops. Okay, so render tiles, render tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, tile 4. Okay. So I do have my tiles back. Now let's do the same for the nodes. It's generic programming, I should be able to do it, but render nodes. Because I did study it, but it's been a few weeks already, so I kind of it has kind of already gotten out of my head. So let's do this. Render nodes. Node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. Right, so it's not drawing my nodes for some reason. Okay. Because I have spawned my nodes. I have spawned them, so like if I just do like up, if I do this, it's going to like just write this, boom, okay, no issues. So here, no issues. It's just that it does do render draw for my nodes, but the state is spawn. So I did spawn. So this, since I did spawn, the state should be, so at first the state is hidden, then the state should be falling. And once it starts falling, yeah, so render draw, I mean render nodes, no, I mean like, okay, one thing at a time. Spawn. Spawn makes the state fall, and then here in render nodes, it makes render draw, and render draw, it should do this, render fill rect, but it doesn't right now for some reason. Right. So no, it only does it 4 times for each node. So it does go through here. I think it's a silly mistake probably, but I need to find where it is. So it does come here. I don't have anything here. Okay. stuff, it does happen here. So coordinates. Well, well. Render nodes. So it doesn't draw it. It should be white here. Um, Because if I just do like here, if I just do like not one render draw render, then here node 2, node 3, node 4. Because this does make them render. Is it because I should use pointers? Oh yes, I think that makes sense. Okay. I'm gonna use pointers for everything. I mean, I'm not going to actually make pointers, but okay. And this is just going to be okay. Huh. Right, because I'm getting out of the local scope. So is it going to do what I want now? It does do what I want now. Good. Well, I since the beginning I had a sort of somewhere in my head I was kind of expecting it to be due to the address, but I don't master the language well enough to like just know immediately that it is that. Okay, so a little bit cleaner now. Let's see. What else do I want to do? I have my nodes falling. Should I do it now? Like the moment like handle key press. Let me try something. Basically, I'm gonna see if I can just do SDL scan code f is equal to 1. I'm gonna print something, just like f, nothing more advanced. Right, so it does work. And here I'm just going to do void handle key press tiles, and I'll do just so this is going to be tile object 1, tile object 2, tile object 3, tile object 4, and is going to be handle key press tiles, tile 1, tile 2, tile 3, tile 4, and this is just going to come here. Oops. Okay, just to make it a little bit more readable. All right. Object, object, oops, object, and object. Oops. State was not declared in the scope. Oh right, I need to pass in the state. So I'm gonna do this. Simple as that. And here wait, can I just do this? I can. So I can also delete this and do this. Alright, actually it's a bit too compact. But where's the mistake? State was not declared. Right, okay. Let's not go too far. Let's just do state here and do it this way. Okay. Okay, good. Good. We simplified some of it. Okay. I mean, this I'm gonna have to change at some point because I'm not only going to have 4 nodes on my screen at all times. So eventually this is going to change. It's going to be like it's going to receive an array and then it's going to render them one by one. But for now, we're chill. Okay. Okay, let's see. So do I want to do it now, like the interaction, where when I press on a key, it's going to, when I press on a key, it checks where the note is and whatever. Should it be like? So maybe I should do like, you know, array nodes column 1, you know, like an array of all the nodes that are around here, and basically I'm gonna check for the timing. Like imagine I have several nodes here and one here and then one here. All of them are in an array, and when the key is pressed, it's just going to check for all of them, and then it's going to, yeah, I mean, it's just going to realize that there's a note right here that was here when the key was pressed, and so the timing is going to be registered, and then it's going to give a certain amount of point based on the timing. It's going to be either perfect, right, okay, or a miss. Let's see. But if, for example, there is no note, like right here, Like for example, if there's no note, yeah, like here, and the closest one is here, and the player just presses the button, even though there's no note, you know, like just as a habit, just to, you know, like warm up or whatever. I think there should be a threshold. Like for example, if the closest note is here and the player presses on the button, nothing happens. But if the note is here and the player presses on the key, then it's going to count as a miss. But at some point, like if the note is just here, then it doesn't really matter. You know, it's probable that the player was just trying to warm up and like just press out of habit and whatever. So I don't think I'm going to do this now. I'm going to stop here, I think. I'm going to read some more about like generic programming in C++, um, to like simplify even further all this. Maybe I don't need to simplify this, I don't know. I'm gonna see, and then I'm also going to think about how I'm going to like make the nodes start spawning at different intervals. I'll see. But this is going to depend on the music, right? So, like, since I want it to be a rhythm game of some sorts, first I'm gonna have to like implement the music part, play. I want the music to be played, and then we'll see. Okay, so I'm gonna stop here for now. This is what it looks like for now. We have our tiles that are falling down, and yeah, I mean, let's continue another time. I'll just remove console message around here. I think there's one. Where is it? Here. And I think there was one also for like the tiles. No, I didn't do any. Let's do it again. Oh right, it's not going to compile because I wrote some silly stuff here. To do, it's going to be check for timing. Okay, and so if I compile here, right. Okay. So yeah, let's stop here, and I'm excited to see how we're going to deal with the audio implementation as well as the timing check. But I'll try to do the timing check in the next video, in the next session, and then the session afterwards I'll try to do and a few next sessions, because I don't think I'm gonna do it in only one session because I've never done audio in SDL2. So I'll try to do the audio implementation. Then I'll see how I can make it so that the tiles, the notes spawn automatically based on the music. It's not going to be perfect, I'm sure, but I'll see how it works. It's probably not just going to be SDL2, it's going to be like AI programming and whatever. But we will figure it out. And so yeah, goodbye.